The wind moved slowly through the Himalayan trees. The secret flames that had consumed Pandu's mortal shell now lay cold. Only ash and silence remained. Madhuri had followed him, not with fear, but with devotion, dissolving into the fire like ghee on the altar of fate. And Kunti, she returned, not carrying grief, but destiny. The five Pandavas, sons of gods, embodiments of dharma and celestial promise, walked into Hastinapura like thunder echoing through the silent kingdom. The people rejoiced, the elders saw omens of revival. But far away, fate was preparing its counterweight. Long before history was written, a war shook the heavens and split the earth. This is the Mahabharata, not just a story, but a cosmic saga of gods, warriors, curses, and fate. A battle between dharma and adharma, truth and betrayal, where every choice shapes eternity. Welcome to Dark Whispers, where forgotten legends are brought back to life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell icon and follow the Whispers of Destiny. Across the rugged Sindhu, beyond the stony ridges and ancient passes, lay Gandhara, land of cold winds, sharper minds, and secrets buried in stone. And there, a daughter was born. Gandhari, not just a princess, a presence. The very spirit of Gandhara, cloaked in silence, sharp with vision, and carved in patience. She was the daughter of King Subala, a man of numbers and negotiations. And among his sons was one whose name would one day stain the scrolls of time, Shakuni. But to Gandhari he was just a brother, a companion, the only one who tried to understand the stillness she carried in her soul. Gandhari was no ordinary child. She did not spend her days learning dance or embroidery. She learned statecraft, debate, inner silence. She observed, absorbed, and grew into a woman who did not fear destiny. She studied it. It is said Lord Shiva noticed her silence, and in a rare moment of divine irony, he granted her a boon. To you shall be born 100 sons, but with them shall come a storm to test your soul. No priest understood it, not even Shakuni. But Gandhari never flinched. Her silence was never emptiness. It was power, waiting. Then came the message from Hastinapura, a proposal. The groom? Prince Dhritarashtra, the eldest son of Vichitravirya. Brave, powerful, but blind. The court of Gandhara erupted. King Subala turned pale. How dare they offer a blind prince to our daughter? Shakuni seethed with rage. A blind man for Gandhari? They insult our blood. But Gandhari closed her eyes and whispered, I accept. No defiance, no tears, just a choice, one she made not as a victim, but as a sovereign soul. The morning sun washed from behind the clouds as Gandhari prepared for her wedding. Amidst gold silks and temple chants, she took a simple piece of cloth, and in the sacred fire's reflection, she wrapped it across her eyes, not in haste, not in sorrow. She tied it like a ritual, like sealing an eternal vow. If he cannot see, I too shall live in darkness. For love is not in the eyes. It is in the will to walk together, even when you cannot see the path. The gods paused, even destiny blinked. She had not been shackled. She had chosen darkness, not out of weakness, but as defiance against pity. The seasons turned, the throne held still, and Gandhari conceived. The palace glowed with hope. The queen of Hastinapura would birth a dynasty. But weeks passed, then months, a year, then another. No children cried in her chambers, only silence. Kunti, her co-wife, had already given birth to 5 sons, sons of the gods. And Gandhari? She waited, and the silence within her grew louder than any celebration outside. Then one night, overcome by pain, rage, and despair, Gandhari struck her belly, and what emerged was not a child, not a cry, but a lifeless lump of flesh, a slab, heavy, cold, a curse carved in blood. The palace stood frozen. Not even Dhritarashtra could speak. But before grief consumed her soul, her presence arrived. Sage Vyasa, seer of truths, the silent historian of destiny, entered the chamber. He touched the lump gently, and his eyes burned with vision beyond lifetimes. "Do not despair," he said. "This is not failure, but transformation. Divide this flesh into 100 parts and place each in a pot of oil and mantra. And wait. And one more for a daughter." And so began a ritual that defied every law of birth. 100 shadows formed in clay jars, nurtured by fire, silence, and fate. Then one night, the first pot cracked. A cry, sharp, powerful, and ominous. The child was strong, broad-shouldered, eyes like burning coals. He was named Duryodhana, the unconquerable. But as his cry echoed, the skies darkened. Wolves howled, vultures circled. The whole palace trembled. Vidura stepped forward, wise, dharmic, and fearless. "O king," he warned, "this child bears omens of destruction. Abandon him, or he shall abandon Dharma." But Dhritarashtra only felt his son's face and smiled. He was blind to omens, but not to love. And Gandhari? She stood in silence. She had already given up her sight. She would not give up her son. One by one the jars opened, 99 more sons, and one daughter, Dushala. 100 princes, sons of silence, sons of oil and darkness, not born by flesh alone, but carved by rage, will, and destiny itself. And thus the 2 lines were drawn. The Pandavas, born of gods, light, dharma, and exiled purity, and the Kauravas, born of silence, shadows, and storms. 2 branches of the same tree, 2 rivers flowing towards a common sea of fire. And in the center stood Gandhari, the mother of 100 fates, the woman who saw with no eyes, yet perceived everything. The princes have risen, the bloodlines now stand, but before swords are drawn, they must be taught. For next comes the era of gurus, of knowledge, of weapons, and loyalty tested. The bows will rise, and childhood will end.